Especially now that the video is up, I did not realize how many times I have to fucking stand up and do this dumbass chair thing. It's all people are gonna see is me just randomly standing up and bending over to fix this seat.
That's great. That's great. They're gonna now see what makes the creak because I lean back. They're also gonna see the tap because I'm gonna be constantly tapping my pen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's how I do it. Uh, I love that when you stand up, you completely vanish too. Like
Right.
it's like you fade into nothingness. You're just like, oh, I'm gone. It's like,
Damn.
who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? Neil Simpson, the Shadow.
Just show up out of the nowhere.
Oh,
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming. You have decided for whatever reason to choose another horrible gaming podcast. I am not alone, nor am I ever. Mostly. With me is...
Neil, aka a tiny wizard.
And don't adjust your sets, ladies and gentlemen. Don't refresh the video. You are actually seeing our ugly mugs. Literally, the internet. No one asked to see us, and we
No,
decided anyway.
Nobody wanted this.
make
Zero
it sure-
people exactly.
There was
asked for
absolutely
this.
no comments. They were like, we'd like to see you while you're doing this. Nope. But here we are. You get to see us. So we are trying this new thing since we both have webcams now. So we are going to be trying to... The YouTube version will now be... Well, I'm not going to say live. It's not. We're still recording it Sunday night.
No, it's
And
live.
you're seeing it Wednesday morning. And I am still going to edit it. You're going to still have all of the normal podcast stuff, but you will be seeing our faces on the YouTube. So it will feel more like a YouTube show. No longer will you get the graphics in the background.
There's at
of
least
weird
something
stuff.
to watch.
Right. Yeah, exactly. There's something to
I
watch.
can gesture to things like this creature right here.
Yes, you're a weird coffee person. It almost looks like a cup of coffee.
I don't know. It's some Discord thing, the Wampus or whatever. And you're probably going to watch me slowly sink in my chair over time, and then you're going to see me stand up and
Just vanish.
and vanish. Yeah, it's something that I'm still sinking, actually. It's something that I've been doing during the podcast because this chair is just the hydraulic on it is whatever. So I'm so tall, if it sinks all the way down, my knees are up in my desk. So, like right now, I literally have to do it already.
What you have to do, Neil, is get a chair that was built by blacksmiths in the medieval times and somehow is still together. That's my chair. It's just metal on metal on metal, and it creaks like a motherfucker, but it never lowers whatsoever. So, all right. So before we get into this show, we do have to thank the people who helped make it possible. Number one, thank you. If you are watching this on YouTube, other than our faces, you're seeing some fancy graphics. I don't know how many of them are still going to make it into the show thanks to this whole thing. I don't know what editing is going to be, but any of them are provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And then, of course, the man who makes the music makes this theme song and all songs here at OMG, and that is my brother, the man who makes the music. I already said that, but I said it again. My brother Nick Van Sliders, we thank him for that.
You haven't had to do this in 2 weeks, so
No,
that's fine.
I haven't.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, our most important segment, and that is fan interaction. That's where us, the hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. We read out all your comments on the YouTubes, any place we might see them. We respond to them. We riff on them. We do all sorts of stuff with them. Now, bear with me, guys. We have 2 full episodes of fan interaction to get through, thanks to the fact that I did take off last week. So first, we go back to episode 133. this episode was about the ridiculous Starfield stuff or whatever. So let's see what people said. First, Asylum 66. A. Don't underestimate walking continuous smoke Snoop bomb. This is in reference to the fact that Snoop Dogg is going to be in Call of Duty. He then says, B. Snoop Dogg did a frog splash in AEW. To see his physical prowess, watch the clip and thank me later. I have seen the clip, and Asylum, I will only be truly okay with Snoop Dogg being in Modern Warfare if this is the only thing he can do to kill people. Is he can smoke a bong to refresh his health. He can't pick up guns. He can smoke a bong to refresh his health, and he has to somehow finagle his way above people and frog splash onto them. I'm all for that. Give me that, because I will watch streamers do that all day long.
I have no idea what a frog splash is.
Yo, God, I keep forgetting you're not wrestling. We got to get you into wrestling. I got to bring you into the fold. Professional wrestling. Neil, you'd love it. It's basically like anime with human people and sports rules. That's basically what it is.
Such a bizarre descriptor.
But that is literally the best descriptor ever.
I've always likened it to like a daytime soap opera, but with slaps.
All right. First of all, anime is very much like a daytime soap opera. So those comparisons
for sure.
definitely line up. Second of all, that's not a bad comparison either, although slaps doesn't do it justice. And a lot of people put it that way, and I'm like, no. The athleticism in this, they make themselves, especially nowadays, they make themselves into human anime characters. It's just ridiculous. I'll get you into it eventually. Asylum 66, and a frog splash is where you go to the top rope, you jump off the top rope on somebody who's on the ground. While in midair, you kind of put your arms between your legs and then back out again, as if kind of making it look like you were a frog, so to speak, and then you land on the person.
I'm trying to mentally imagine this.
Hold on.
And it just feels weird.
This is fun. Frog
to imagine.
Splash.
Oh, because of how I have this set up, you're not. If you send it to me, I won't be able to see it.
Oh,
because of how I have my screen set up.
Okay,
that's what I was kind of talking about. Yeah, I won't be able to see it until
I'll
later.
send it to you afterwards. All right, Asylum 66. Starfield is triggering my Fable PTSD. Promised the world, and we got chicken-kicking fart jokes. That's a little bit harsh on Fable, but this is true. That company did apologize for what they promised and us not getting, even though that game did end up coming out as one of the better games out there. But I understand where you're coming from. Again, I'm getting Cyberpunk PTSD from it because Cyberpunk promised.
That is the one right there.
I get what your comparison to Fable, more present day Cyberpunk. Then we've got good old William Houen. Hi! Just writing this for myself. Halo Firefight, here comes the lasso. Yes, William Houen. He's taking mental note of our streams. If you have not watched, I'd skip the first one. Like the oldest one we had, just because the sound was a little shitty. It's still very funny if you can hear it. But I did not get the sound right for that one. I would watch the second one, which is called Halo Firefight, and then the third one, which is, boom, here comes the lasso. Then he says, Starfield, I'm so tired of hype stuff. Stop selling me ideas with CGI trailers and concept art. I want to see an actual game. I could not agree with you more, Will. Could not agree with you more, which is basically the crux of everything we said last time. He then says, Zach, you should get a hashtag boycott t-shirt with Velcro next to it so you could patch your t-shirt with the most recent boycott stance. I love that idea. I absolutely love that idea. Thanks for the show.
Just run around with other things, just daily things.
Hashtag boycott milk. Boom. Thanks for the show. Hashtag boycott tree on cars. Don't know what that meant.
If it was whenever we were talking about I don't know if it made it in or not. I can't remember the story with me. And, that whole thing.
I think it did make it in. Asylum 66 then finishes off and says, "Oh no, I didn't comment last week. Sorry, Wizard. I thought you guys did great.
Oh, you're good. Like I said, that was that show that we did. It's the show with Kayla and myself. That was that was a blast. It was fun.
Yeah. It was. You guys did a really good job. Really good job, in my opinion. All right, so now we move up to episode 134. This one, I was off, so we did a horrible arena battle royale between me and Neil, where we pitched three different subjects 3 different times. It was a lot of fun. Let's see what everybody thought of our pitches, Neil.
Let's see.
But before we do, we have a Jason comment that doesn't really have anything to do with it. He says, Dungeon was a game I played all the time. Then we ruined the box and stored the pieces in an ice cream bucket, then lost the board. Heaven knows if the pieces are still around somewhere. How many games? I still have all my Hero Quest figures in like a plastic bag. Stella plays with them sometimes. I have no idea where that board game is lost to time for me. Philbilly then goes into some actual votes. He goes, my votes would be 1, believe it or not, Hell's Kitchen. I love Cobra Kai, and I love the idea of your pitch. I just don't think it would ever be able to be produced correctly to bring the same feels as it has in the medium of the TV series. Plus, I really like the builds and competitive part of Hell's Kitchen game. He then said, 2, definitely Forza Mad Max, because guns, cars, post-apocalyptic world, explosions. Thank you for that one. And then he says, 3, gotta go with the wrestling game here. Always been a fan and would love the opportunity to run A-League and storylines with my vision in mind. Especially if they actually made the engine for watching the matches in mind. That was the key thing. I would be really excited about that. That last little sentence was just me. But yeah, thank you for the votes, Philbilly. Then we continue. Asylum jumped in, and he says, Cobra Kai would win, but Zach went second, and Cobra Kai strikes first. Good point. Cobra Kai still wins, however. Crossover, Wizard wins. I'm guessing he's giving you the crossover on the Doom one. And then he did not vote on the wild card. Then we had some votes from Mr. Terry Shakespeare. He says, Cobra Kai / Mad Max Forza for the win. He then says, don't you dare skip Mad Max 2. It's the best fucking one, dude. That's for you when I told you don't have to watch 2.
Yeah.
And then we get into a little bit of a tete-a-tete because I said Fury Road greater than Road Warrior. Sorry, I will say the second one is awesome. Then he says, here's an interesting thing. I hear people saying how much they love Fury Road, but I wonder how many times they've actually rewatched it. I'm the same. I've said how good it is, but I've only seen it twice. That's what made me ponder this idea. I then, of course, responded with, I own it digitally and on Blu-ray, and I have watched it double-digit times. Don't get me wrong, Road Warrior is great. It's amazing what they did on the budget they had. That being said, Fury Road is the product of the same minds with unlimited funds to make their visions reality. To which Terry Shakespeare said, fair enough. It ain't got the V8 Interceptor, though. To which me, being a super nerd about that fucking movie, said, it does, and the one bad guy remakes it, and they have to destroy it in one of the later scenes. I have watched that movie too many times, laugh out loud. So yeah, that was our back and forth about Road Warrior. Jason then says, I want to see GTA Cross Silent Hill starring Flash Thompson, including the ability to acquire the Venom and splitting Anti-Venom off. And Dean Winchester, including Demon Knight version. Dreams. I don't think you're ever going to get that movie, Jason. I think there's too many people too many moving parts. Too many people who kept to come together.
Damn it.
He can. Keep dreaming, buddy. Love it. Terry Shakespeare then also said, Doom May Cry, if you will, for a name of your second game.
Well.
And then Terry Shakespeare also says, I only mention it because I want to beat the shit out of people as... We are missing a comment somehow. God, I hate it when YouTube takes stuff off of here.
Yay.
And it's so frustrating because I know what he's talking about. Because he said, I only mentioned it because I want to beat the shit out of people as Johnny and Hawk, and you have to have co-op, dude. Basically, one thing he wanted out of my Cobra Kai game was multiplayer, which I did not pitch for the Cobra Kai game. Which, honestly, I think multiplayer would be great for a DLC on that. Like, let everybody go through their own narratives and then have them all compete with their schools in the All Valley tournaments, you know?
Yeah.
And that would be an amazing DLC. So, I don't know. Do you want to call a winner?
Yeah, if you want. It sounded like it was pretty close, but you might have eked it out.
I think I eked it out overall. I think it was mainly done for fun, and they were all good pitches. And I just want to thank everybody who voted and commented. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you guys interacting so much with a show that we did for me being off. I really appreciate the loyalty, everybody. So that is Fantraction. We are through it, and we've got just a ton of bullshit to talk about.
So much stuff. I mean, I had even said something about that. It's like, you're going to go away, you're going to be gone, and all the things are going to happen. And sure as shit, all the things happened when you went away.
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick break and decide what we're going to talk about first, and then we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first topic. We're going to try and fit 2 topics in today with no talk down, just because we've got a couple of big ones that we want to discuss kind of equally. We'll try and keep it, I guess, topical and quick. I'm going to try and watch the clock here. But first and foremost, this is kind of huge news. We need to talk about it. But E3 has canceled for 2022, both digitally and physically. There will be no presence whatsoever. Now, just to give you guys a history, E3 2020 was canceled for obvious pandemic reasons. 2021 was digital only, and I actually thought it came across pretty successfully, like, on a whole. Like, it still didn't do what it needed to do, which is that physical, like, get the news people in there sort of presence, which we talked about, but it was still there. And then they canceled this year, which, look, I don't want to start an internet war by saying this, but the virus has mutated many times. It is not quite as deadly. A lot of people are even, like, re-looking at mask mandates and stuff like that. Some of that stuff is getting walked back a little bit. Whatever side of the fence you're on, I'm not trying to make that political. I'm just saying that as a collective whole, the DEF CON has gone down a little bit. So for them to cancel at this point, I think kind of feeds into what you were saying, which is that I don't think E3. I think this is it. I think E3's done, because I don't see a viable reason for them to really close it down this year, or at least not do a digital presence thing. So that was one of the big news stories that came out of this week, that ESA had announced no E3. And sorry, still talking. I'm gonna give you a minute. Just just to set the stage more, is we've been talking about E3 for off and on since we've started this podcast. Even back when Logan was here, there was a lot of E3 issues. The first big one was that Sony pulled out, if you recall correctly. And let's face it, while Nintendo does it, they kind of don't do it. So like, it's really like turned into kind of an Xbox show. So the real question is, I mean, was this never? Are we gonna see E3 in the future? You know, and that's what I want to discuss here. So E3's been struggling even before the pandemic. We thought the pandemic was gonna kill them. Then they came back last year with the digital show that I thought was serviceable. It wasn't the greatest ever, but I mean, given the fact that we were still in the pandemic, I thought they did the best they could. But now they've just completely canceled. So I don't know. What do you think?
So I remember when I first saw the news about it, it's kind of funny because I thought it was an April thing, because they decided to announce this huge, massive information on March 31st. So not the greatest timing for that. And I did some researching and everything on the internet, and it's like, yeah, it's true. But yeah, it's one of those things to where I feel like they kind of realized that, yeah, everybody's can just do their own show, and they've kind of been doing that anyways for a while now. It's just they put out one of their shows during, the quote unquote E3 time. And, there's still other outlets, other people who are going to be doing stuff. I think what is going to happen is, while E3 is not like sanctioned by the ESA this time around, what I think is going to end up happening is everyone's just going to collectively know and assume that everybody else is going to do their stuff within this window in the summer. And we're going to get, over the course of, instead of 3 days in June, the whole month is going to be the quote unquote E3 time. I mean, IGN has even said they continue to plan on doing their summer of gaming.
Right.
So
right.
we've already got one pseudo news, I guess, is what you can call them. But game outlets saying that they're still going to be holding one of their events in the summer. I think that also, I also think the fact that, because of the pandemic and everybody's been, oh, we'll announce the thing, we're doing the thing, hey, it's coming this year, oh, we're delaying this, we're delaying that. I think it's one of those things to where the ESA doesn't even know what to do, because they're going to have a show of a whole bunch of announcements, and put this thing on, and 90% of them are not actually going to come out when they say they're going to come out. Everybody's kind of looking at E3 as a giant commercial anymore. They, as an organization for organizing an event, have not known what they're doing for a while. Remember, I think it was the plans for this year or last year, they were going to make it some like event that you sell tickets to, and it's all advertisement experiences or whatever it was, that they were trying to lay it out as like a tiered system or something, not like an actual expo as it's been in the past. So I think, yeah, they're taking a step back this year to take a look and see, what it is that they want to do long term with this. But what I think is going to end up happening in the end is E3 is not going to be a thing anymore. I don't think they're going to continue. They may rebrand it as something else. I mean, Keeley has his summer and winter fuck fest. So, I mean, Keeley's going to take over too. I feel like the ESA is no longer needed in this space because they've been on the fence with everything.
Okay.
Because they haven't been able to do anything, haven't been able to do anything with any real motivation or purpose behind it other than another E3.
I think ESA has botched their management of this wholeheartedly. Like, the thing is, though, is that Summer of Gaming and Keeley's whatever the fuck it is in the summer doesn't do the fans justice, doesn't do what E3 originally did. And I've said this before. I am no great fan of the news, the news complex that goes with gaming. They are often askew. They often have to be so that they can get early access and stay relevant. I don't trust their reviews. I don't trust a lot of things they say other than like trailers and stuff. That being said, there's still people who get to see something, who get to tell us what they see. And even when what they see is slightly askew, at least it's not directly from the mouth of the people who are making it. And the reason, like, we talked about it 2 weeks ago about Starfield. We talked about it a ton with Cyberpunk. It comes down to the fact that one of the biggest problems in gaming is overhype. It's overhype. And the overhype comes from the companies because the companies make all this insane fucking money on pre-orders and shit, so they overhype the hell out of it because they know there's no real return policy for games, so once they got you, they got you. It's a giant bear trap. E3 at least you had people in there playing the games and being able to say, I think this looks good, or I think this kind of will speak to this kind of player, or whatever. Instead of these companies who are just like, whoever you are, you're gonna love this, no problem. This is an open world, Souls-like, platformer, mascot, RPG, JRPG that you're gonna love because you're also gonna have romances, stories, sim management, like that kind of shit. And then the games do like 2/3, like a third of it, and then we get screwed over. E3 kind of served that purpose in a way. Summer of Gaming doesn't serve that purpose. It's a hype train. It's been a hype train since IGN started it. And while IGN at least is a neutral third party, it's still a fucking hype train. That's all Summer of Gaming is. Same with Keighley. Keighley is always a hype. It's just a hype train. Keighley isn't protecting us from anything. Definitely not. The guy who nominated his friend's game because he was in the game, even though the game only scored 5s or 6s across the board for Game of the Year. Like,
Yeah.
E3, while it wasn't managed properly, and while it didn't do a great job of what it did, it was still a barrier to bullshit for us, the common men, playing video games. And that being gone, it means one less barrier for bullshit. It's one less thing that we can use to discern whether we are being lied to or not. And that's a bummer. That's a bummer.
Yeah, and that's something that we've touched on in the past,
Yeah.
too, is, when you have your own show, you don't have to compete with other, publishers, anything like that. You go directly to the people and you can control the messaging on what it is. If you give somebody a preview build of something and say, hey, let people know what you think about it. IGN does that all the time.
Yeah.
We played it. This is what we think. This is what we're nervous about. But overall, we'll get the review whenever the review comes through and we go from there. But like we said, there's been so many things that we've been shown that we have seen that we just don't get the full spectrum of what it is or what is being given to us, because it's either been completely overstated, completely ignored, stuff like that in these first party showcases. Don't get me wrong, I am a creature who enjoys my hype as much as somebody else, anybody other. I'm a consumer. Like, E3 for us was always that time that was like the Super Bowl. We would try to plan our days off from work around it. We would go order pizza and stuff like that, and we would just sit there and watch all of the showcases for like the day or two, whatever we could. It was an event that I personally am sad to see go.
Yeah.
Because of, like what it was for me and like my experiences with it over the years. That also said, I mean, it is a natural evolution. We would have gotten to this point anyways, but the pandemic putting everybody in a situation to where they kind of had to, rethink things and move towards that digital format just kind of pushed it along a little bit faster, and now it's fast forwarded it to this point. What the ESA would even I want to know what it is that they even think that they're going to do next year, because at this point we've already kind of had our digital events. Everybody started spacing their stuff out more and more and more and doing their things more and more and more. What are they going to come back next year and say, okay, guys, we're doing E3 now? And everybody's going to be like, well, boy, howdy, let's get back on that E3 train because, it's so good for us. I mean, we've talked about it before. They have to make demo builds. They have to, have all this production stuff go into.
They have to pay millions of dollars for the stage
yes.
and booth room,
Yeah, I mean, all that sort of stuff that they've had to deal with. And now it's basically like, not only have they been given an out, the people who have been like wrangling them, so to speak, over the years are also not even going to do anything this year. It's just going to push them further along to do what it is that they want to do
Yeah.
off on their own. And I don't necessarily blame them for doing it. It just, for me personally, it just kind of sucks for sure. E3 will be missed, and I'm sure there will be something that will kind of take the form of it. But as we know it, it's completely gone. There's no way we're going to go back to how it was.
Right. And I don't want to take too much more time on this. I think we've said all there is to say. I do want to say I don't think that we're going to see any more E3. I don't think anything's going to take its place. And I think the problem is that why would any of these companies logically, and not even from like they're a shitty company, I'm sure they're shitty companies, but like not even from that point of view, just logically, if you look at it from any of their points of views, why would you willingly enter into E3 where you have to spend millions of dollars to promote your games, and every gamer looks at it as a contest that you could lose? Like, why would you pay for bad press, basically, when instead you could just be like, hey, we're going to do our own show. It's going to be this day. We're going to take 4 hours. We're going to show you trailers of everything we have, and we're not going to spend a fucking dime for it. We're just going to put the trailers together. It just doesn't make sense for them to do the E3 thing, to put themselves in that spot, and I mean, you throw your hands up. It's something that I miss, and I don't want to go away, but there's just no logical reason for it anymore other than to help us. And none of these conglomerates are just going to do something to help us. You know what I mean? So like, it's kind of a bummer. But all right, let's get off this. Let's get on to the other thing, which I don't actually know that much about. This was one of the big stories that I missed. So we'll be back.
You're going to be learning about this in real time.
Yeah, I am. We'll be back in just a second, and we're going to talk about PlayStation's response to Games Pass. You didn't see me do the hand quotes. He actually can't see me right now, guys. I'll let you guys in a little secret. I can see him and myself. He cannot see me. For some reason, my webcam won't transmit to the call, but it'll transmit to you guys. So, yeah. So my little air quotes did not reach him. All right, we'll be right back.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our second talking point, and this is basically, over the last week, PlayStation has announced its Games Pass competitor. I air quoted again, since Neil can't see me, but I actually missed a lot about this story. I've seen only a couple of headlines, which I've definitely stored something away that I want to talk about, but for the most part, the real meat and potatoes of this story will have to be relayed to us by Neil. So Neil, take it away, man. What is this crazy? What is this?
Boy, howdy, is it a thing? So, I mean, we had kind of talked about it when the rumors were going around initially. It was called Project Spartacus, I believe. It was supposedly PlayStation's Game Pass competitor. Now, after we go through all this, I don't know how much of a competitor it's necessarily going to be, but I'm actually I have PlayStation, the official PlayStation blog pulled up right now.
Hit us with it, man. I'm excited.
So, PlayStation Plus is now going to be broken down into these separate tiers.
Oh, all right.
So instead of there being just the PlayStation Plus and PlayStation Now, they're going to kind of mold together to some degree. So, starting with the PlayStation Plus Essential. For the benefits, it says, provides the same benefits that PlayStation Plus members are already getting today, such as 2 monthly downloadable games, exclusive discounts, cloud storage for save games, online multiplayer access. There are no changes for existing PlayStation Plus members in this tier, and the price is going to stay the same as PlayStation Plus is currently. So that is $9.99 monthly, $24.99 quarterly, or $59.99 yearly.
Oh, okay. Like the yearly subscription possibility.
Yeah, it could save you a little bit of money there.
Yeah, I like that.
But there is also PlayStation Plus Extra. PlayStation Plus Extra provides all
PlayStation
the
Plus
benefits.
PlayStation Plus times Alpha EX.
To the third power. Provides all the benefits from the essential tier, but it also adds a catalog of up to 400 of the most enjoyable PS4 and PS5 games, including blockbuster hits from our PlayStation Studios catalog and third-party partners. Games in the extra tier are downloadable for play. Pricing on that is going to run $14.99 monthly, $39.99 quarterly, or $99.99 yearly. But wait, there's more. There
That's
is
already
also
insane. I got a lot to say about that already.
there is PlayStation Plus Premium. PlayStation Plus Premium provides all the benefits from essential and extra tiers, but it adds up to 340 additional games, including PS3 games available via cloud streaming, and a catalog of beloved classic games available in both streaming and download options from the original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, and PSP generations. Offers cloud streaming access for original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games offered in the extra and premium tiers and in markets where PlayStation Now is currently available. Customers can stream games using PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC. Limited time game trials will also be offered in this tier, so customers can try select games before they buy. The pricing on this is $17.99 monthly, $49.99 or $119.99 yearly. And before you ask the question, they've already asked this to what's his name here, Jim Ryan. They asked, "Are you going to have day and date PS5 exclusives release on here?" He said straight up, "No, we're not trying to do that because they feel like their quality of games are going to suffer." So
what? Their quality of games are going to suffer because they're putting it.
The exact quote was something along the lines of,
"That's bullshit."
For the type of budgets for the games that customers expect for these titles, we wouldn't be able to produce something of the quality that they want and expect or desire, something along those lines. So
that is absolute bullshit.
My just quick take, because I know you're boiling right now. You're like a pot. If anyone's ever boiled milk or cream for any reason, you can't walk away from it for like 2 seconds, or else it'll turn into Zach right now. It's gonna go everywhere.
I'm actually not that pissed. I think this is dumb, but we'll get into it.
So honestly, like the time limited game trials, so you can download and try out like new games when they come out to see if you want to play them. That's cool. I think that should be in the plus extra tier, not all the way up in premium. Honestly, I don't think it should be gated at all, but if you're going to put it anywhere, I'd kick it back there. It's cool that you'd be able to, play some PS4 and PS5 games in this Plus Extra, and eventually they're going to add more stuff to it, I'm sure. But as it stands right now, the PS5 doesn't really even have many PS5 games that people can play. They're getting some, but I don't think there's enough here to justify something like this. PS4 games, sure, that's great. And the stuff from the PS2 and PS3, that's also awesome. But for what you're going to be paying and what you're going to be getting on those, I feel like there's some disparity between those.
Yeah, just a tad. Can I go now, or?
Yeah, you can go now.
Okay, all right. No, that wasn't a dick move. I just wanted to make sure.
No, you're fine.
Before
go
I
ahead.
got into it. All right. First of all, Jim Ryan, the idea that your game quality would suffer because you were putting your exclusives on this service is the fattest load of bullshit I have ever seen in my life. You know it, I know it, and anybody reading that with 2 brain cells to run together knows that that's crap. You want people to pay full price for it. You don't want to have them in that service. Fine, man, if that's the way you want to play it, but like comparing to Xbox, who has not suffered quality at all with their releases to Game Pass. In fact, since Game Pass has come out, the quality of Xbox exclusives has multiplied 100-fold. I would argue with the best of them. Before Games Pass, there was fucking nothing on Xbox. Now Xbox has Game Pass, and they have a great exclusives lineup. So right there, that's trash. That's trash. And that, coupled with this entire pricing scheme, just goes to the final point, which I'll make in a second. Number 3, your highest tier is where you gate off PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 1 backwards compatibility that people have been asking for from this system for years. Look, I want to say this again before I even keep going. I am not an Xbox guy over PlayStation. I want all these companies to do good and do good by us. I am a people person, all right? I want you guys to be happy with your products. If you guys like PlayStation, play PlayStation. You like Xbox, play Xbox. You like Nintendo, play Nintendo. You like PC, play Nintendo, PC. You want to play all of them. The thing is, though, is we have to look at these companies and make decisions as to who's antiquated in their thought processes and thinking. Xbox has had backwards compatibility with every system that they have ever launched. In fact, they have gone out of their way to make games backwards compatible from OG Xbox, which was never supposed to do that ever. And they have made these services free. There is no barrier to entry to play backwards compatibility games. People on the PlayStation side have been asking to be able to play their games forever. They can't. Now you have to pay on the highest tier to get your most famous system without a doubt, which is PlayStation 2. I think you can agree with me on that. Like,
Oh,
of
yeah,
all the
absolutely.
PlayStations, I mean, PlayStation 4 was a winner too. I'm not saying it wasn't, but PlayStation 2 is the one when it comes
Oh,
to
yeah.
Sony. It's the reason that
100%.
it's the reason PlayStation is in this conversation at all. It's the system. People want to play those games forever. You've locked their backwards compatibility behind an insane price tag. An absolutely insane price tag. So there, right off the bat. So you're not doing exclusives. Your backwards compatibility is locked behind the highest price level that you have offered. You don't really have any exclusives for your newest system on a market, on a thing that has been marketed on its exclusives. Like, PlayStation literally lives and dies on its first party exclusives, and they do not exist for PlayStation 5. Just want to say that. I mean, there are first party exclusives, but they're also on PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't really. Ratchet and Clank, have fun. Have fun. I mean, that being said, there are a couple of positives. I do really like the yearly subscription model, even though the price is insanely high for these
Yeah. Yeah.
services that they've offered. I like the option to pay for a full year at a slightly smaller rate. I don't like that Xbox got rid of that. I never liked that they got rid of that. I preferred to just buy it once a year on a Groupon, you know. So I do like that. That's my positive on this. However, the price tags on this are insane. All of their prices are higher comparatively to what Xbox offers. And Xbox offers literally 3 times the games and services that PlayStation does. And this is the problem with Sony. This is what I've been saying for a while. It's not that I hate Sony, it's that their business, their company, the way they look at gaming is antiquated and old-fashioned. And because of that, they are getting the shit kicked out of them right now, and they're going to continue to do so. If this is your answer to Game Pass, after Microsoft has literally bought half the fucking gaming world while you spent $1.6 billion on a game that's 4 years old, like, what are you doing? Like, that's what I don't get, and I don't understand why other people don't see this. Is it's like Microsoft makes a move that makes sense, Sony makes a move that doesn't. Like that's their counter every time. And that's the problem here. I don't want Sony to fail. I don't want any of these companies to fail. But the way that Sony looks at gaming has to change, or they are going to lose everything. They are not going to even be a game company. There will be no PlayStation 6 if they do not turn their shit around now. And that starts, number one, with the way they look at the way this industry works and is going to work 10 years down the road, because they're still looking at it as how it worked 5 years ago. And it doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, and one of the IGN shows was kind of talking about this. I believe it was one of the IGN shows. Somebody was talking about it, and it was brought up like, so like, why is it that they're not putting those first parties on there? And they go back to the quote that that dude had. But I feel like I at least would hope. I would hope that this is something that they're going to see what ends up happening over the first year or so of the release of this service, and then maybe revisit that. Like, I know for myself personally, if they, instead of charging, it was like the $17.99 for the top tier, if they just said, look, like $20 a month, and they were putting PS5 exclusives day and date on there, I think I would be there.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, truly and honestly, I think I would be there. I'd throw the money down for it. But like, I'm also somebody who has never had PlayStation Plus at all.
Right.
I've had no reason to, because I don't do any multiplayer gaming at all on my PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So what they have been offering has never been something to draw me over. If it's one of those deals to where if you don't already have it, you should find something that kind of draws those people over to you and gives them a reason. And to some degree, there's, sure, the like PS2 games and stuff like that. I would love to see what the catalog is, because they've not, shown anything officially. They're like, oh yeah, like God of War for the PS4, and they said like Returnal for the PS5 is going to be on there.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, we don't know anything else. It's all based off of what that service is going to be. But when Microsoft announced for Game Pass, like, hey, everything brand new is coming to Game Pass day one, it's not a question in anyone's minds at all. They immediately jumped for it. And honestly, it's one of those things to where if you don't have Game Pass with Xbox, people kind of look at you funny sort of situation. That's not the case with this, because I don't think there's enough to push people to either A, subscribe in the first place if they haven't already, or B, push them from just that essential base tier higher.
Well, and the problem is, we're not even talking about just Xbox exclusives day one. Like, Game Pass gets other third-party games day one too. Like, it's a huge Back for Blood was day one on there. That wasn't an Xbox exclusive. There's been a lot of like, every time a game gets announced, I'm like, I'm gonna wait and see if that ends up on Games Pass day one, because a lot of them do. Like, and your competition with this is to have a higher price and not even put your own first party exclusives on there day one. Like, that's my problem here, is that Sony doesn't look at Xbox as competition. They don't treat them as competition, even though they're outspending them. They're going to be outgrossing them by the end of the year. Like, at what point do you start considering the biggest tech company on the planet competition for you? The other thing is, and I do want to switch it just a tad. I'm going to tell you how Sony should have marketed this, how they should have done this, and how they might actually, because it's exactly like you said. It's not just about getting people who are already buying into this to spend more money. It's about getting people to decide, hey, I don't want Game Pass anymore. I want the Sony one. Like that's what it's about. It's about
Yeah.
taking the market share back, which you're not doing with this. You're offering a service that is smaller for more money. Nobody's going to look at those two and decide I'm going to get the Sony one unless you were already going to get the Sony one, you know?
Right.
What Sony should do. I don't know if you'll agree with this. And honestly, I don't even agree with this. I just think this is what they should have done. They should have kept the price point the same. They should have put the backwards compatibility on the second tier, not the third tier. And what they should have done with the third tier is if you spend the third tier, you get to play all of our first party exclusives 3 days early. That would have made me throw. Well, I don't have Sony, but if I had Sony, that would have made me throw the money down. I get to play it 3 days early before everybody else. Like all the early access stuff, you get to play every one of our first party games early access, 3 days early. Yeah, okay. Now you're talking. That's worth the cost. That one ups Xbox at least in some facet. This is literally looking for the word. I lost the word. The train hit the fucking station. It is literally not as good on every single conceivable level. It is not as good on price. It is not as good on library. It is not as good on releases. It is not as good on any single level. How do you expect to compete with this? How is this a Game Pass competitor? You know? I don't.
Right.
I still don't even feel like this should be uttered in the same sentence as a competition to
And
Game Pass. Same with Nintendo Online. Nintendo Online is not the Games Pass competitor. I'm so sick of people saying that. IGN ran a story like, we break down everything in these three online services like they're competition for seven. Nintendo Online is fucking Super Mario Brothers 2, guys, for a fucking yearly service. It's not the Game Pass competitor. It just isn't. Nintendo actually survives on their first party exclusives. Good for them. But like that is not comparable to Game Pass in any way, shape, or form. Whereas like this is supposed to be, and it still really isn't. It's not even in the ballpark of the value you get with Game Pass. Even if Game Pass raises the price $1 or $2, it's still not going to like put a dent in it. You needed to either undercut Game Pass on price or overcut them on services, and they did neither.
And that's you kind of touched on something that I was going to get to in odds and ends, but there's already rumors floating around that they're going to be raising the price of Game Pass and kind of doing away with the standard Xbox Live Gold and just moving it all together into one and kicking it up a couple dollars.
They've had those
And
rumors
the
forever.
fact, yeah, but they're kind of renewed. But I think the fact that that's even a thing that has either leaked, been talked about, made its way out to some degree one way or another after this has come out kind of speaks to exactly what sort of value you're getting with Game Pass. I mean, myself, you and I have talked about this. I've said before that I'm fully expecting Game Pass to have to raise its price at some point.
I mean, they do.
And I feel like it can get away with it for what it gives you.
Yeah.
I've said before, I feel like I'm stealing when I have Game Pass.
I don't feel like
and
I'm
I've
stealing
got
from any of these people. But it's fine.
You know what I mean, the comparison. But like
I see what you're saying.
But yeah, but like that's the thing is you take a look at Game Pass and what's actually being offered there with Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
And then you compare that apples to apples with these tiers of the PlayStation service. It's like PlayStation service is a combination of Game Pass and kind of what Nintendo's online service is, because they're trying to sell you nostalgia, but again, PlayStation's trying to sell you anything that they can, which business is gonna business, that's fine. But like you said, they're kind of gating that backwards compatibility behind a paywall, which is something that people have been screaming from the rooftops for the longest time.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're going to give it to you, but you got to give them a little something first. Like,
I mean,
it's
Xbox
not
is the king of services. You're trying to dethrone them. This doesn't even like you're not even in the fucking courtroom. Like it's not. You're not even in the castle. You haven't even found the place you're supposed to be to dethrone him. Like this is. I I don't know. I don't understand how Sony execs look at what's happening and they look at what Xbox is doing and they think that these things that they keep doing are good ideas, like the buying of Bungie and
It's
this.
good.
Like
It's
every
all
time they
good.
make these, I don't understand how they look at it and they go, "This is
Yeah.
the right move." Like, what are you doing? It's like somebody punches you 4 times in the face and you give them a handshake. Like I don't understand what you are trying to do here. I really wish we had more insight because every time they open their mouths, every time they open their wallets, every time they open a new service, it's paled in comparison to what an Xbox service is, you know? And now Xbox owns all the companies, so they own all the exclusives. So this is, I mean, they're in real trouble and they don't act like they are. And that kind of blows my mind. It kind of blows my mind. But we're at 54 minutes. If we want to do odds and ends, we need to move on. Do you have anything else to add to this?
No, I mean, at this point, I think we've kind of.
Yeah, I do too. All right, everybody, we're going to go away, and then we're going to be right back with odds and ends.
Gonna go away. I can go away. I can go away. Just. Oh no, it didn't.
It didn't
go.
You got to move to the side. You got to like move off to the side. There you go. You're gone. You're vanished. All right.
I'm a ghost.
What if the podcast was just you playing with the camera for an hour and a half? All right, we'll be right back with odds and ends.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our final segment, odds and ends. This is the segment where we collect smaller news stories, don't necessarily deserve a talking point, stuff we just want to tell you about, riff about, tell the other person about, whatever, make fun of, and it's called odds and ends. So I was on vacation. I did not collect as many as I normally do. I did collect 2. Neil has like 47. So Neil, why don't you start us off, man?
8,500.
Why don't you start us off?
All right. So CD Projekt Red has officially announced that the next Witcher game is in the works. They're using Unreal 5 for it. I'm sure it'll be out in about 15 years.
I want to say right now, this is ridiculous. Like they did Cyberpunk, it fucked up, and instead of sticking with it, they're like, let's go back to what worked. Let's just do another fucking Witcher game. Like they had said they were done with Witcher, and now all of a sudden they're doing another Witcher game a year after Cyberpunk was a horrible, embarrassing failure. So like, I don't know. This looks like bullshit.
I think it's stupid. I don't know why they're announcing it already. I mean, it's the same.
Yeah.
Unless the game is literally almost done, which I highly doubt. This
is literally
this is Cyberpunk again.
Yeah, this is literally just more to take more attention off of Cyberpunk. It's just tell them there's another Witcher coming out so that they'll start talking about that. That's all this is. It's just look at this hand over here, so you don't see what we're doing with this hand. That's all it is. Do you want me to go with one? Or
go ahead.
Okay.
We'll alternate till you run out.
All right, so this is kind of insane. Sonic, the second movie, is coming out very soon. I'm actually kind of excited about this. I like the first one. I might take Stella to it. I don't know. She's doing better with movies, and she really liked the first one. So might go see it with her. Very excited about it. Fuzzy Sonic controllers are a thing, though. They released a special edition Xbox Series X with... it's got the nice decals. It's got cool decals on it, but it comes with a blue and a red controller that are fuzzy. They are fuzzy. They have, shag carpeting all over them. I don't understand. This is ridiculous. I was on board for the, greaseless Winner Chicken Dinner controller and some of the other crazy controllers they have. I love cool, artsy controllers. I love that kind of thing. I don't buy them because they cost too much money, but the Wonderlands controller, the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands controller looks amazing. There's a Sea of Thieves controller that looks phenomenal. These look dumb. They're just big furry controllers, like a small dog that you play a game with. And what's even worse is I just think it's really long hair. It's not guys,
kind of fuzzy.
It's not it's just little it's a very fuzzy hair that could very easily get wrapped up in the analog controller, wrapped up in the buttons, wrapped up in the bumpers. No, I don't need these. I don't need these in my life. And whoever came up with these is insane, I think.
Not even just that, how gross they're gonna get. Like,
Right, right.
I mean, I know,
Right.
like,
Eat
anytime I play
pizza
games,
and then put your fucking disgusting hands in that.
anytime I play games and like I'm getting real into it, eventually your hands will start sweating. If you have stuff on your hands, how do you can't clean? You can't throw it in the washing machine.
They're gonna smell
Anything
so
like that.
bad. So bad.
It's
It's
just
gonna be
like
like
those.
armpits.
It's like those fuzzy steering wheel covers that people have. Like my wife even has one. She loves it. She wanted one. She loves it. It's warm and toasty on her hands in the winter. Fine, great, but eventually that thing is going to start getting matted and gross.
It is.
And a steering wheel cover
Yes.
being a whole $12 to $15, you can just throw it away and buy a new one. It's fine. You can't do that with this. This affront to nature is the only way I can describe it. I don't know why.
It's all about coulda, not about shoulda on this one.
Yeah.
Really, really, that's the bumper sticker for this one. All right, I'll toss it back over to you. I only have one left, so just let me know
All
when
right.
you want me to say it.
Yeah, I'll have you go after this one actually. But according to some insider info, new Fable games progress has been super slow, and that is due to Playground's inexperience with RPGs, as well as being apparent cheap asses when it comes to development costs, not wanting to pay for more labor or overtime to be able to get
Great.
through everything.
Great.
So, do we think it's going to be out this year? Probably not, because we got it announced 2
It's
years
not a
ago, I think. Yeah, and we've seen nothing since.
It's not a game. I don't believe it's a
yeah.
game until I see gameplay anymore, and it's not a game. Just like Starfield's not a game, it's an idea of a game. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
why did they even announce it? Like, I know
I
there
don't
was
even
pressure
know.
for people. Like, where is it? Where is it? Don't tell us about it. Who cares how many people are asking where it is until you show us? Now you've showed us, and we want to see it, and you don't have anything to show us. I don't know. And I don't think I can take another bad Fable game. I'll be so depressed. Like Fable 3 was such a fucking letdown. I'll be so sad if I get a fourth one and it sucks.
So go on ahead with your last one.
My last one isn't so much a news story as just a shout out. So there is a game from a more independent developer that probably a lot of our audience wouldn't be into, but I did review it for the channel, and that is Sherlock Holmes. The most recent one, Chapter 1. The most recent one is Chapter 1, where they go back to like young Sherlock Holmes, basically. And all the Sherlock Holmes games are done by a company called Frogwares. They are kind of interactive detective games. This one actually had shooting elements, which I thought were nice, if a little limited. Frogwares is a Ukrainian company. They have produced 2 DLCs during active war time. And I just want to shout that out to them, because that is a level of dedication. I don't think there's anybody in the world who, if they were like, hey, we're Ukrainian, we're in a wartime, we know we promised you these 2 DLCs, we got to take a little break. I don't think anybody would be like, no problem, just don't die. But this company has somehow produced 2 DLCs during the wartime. One that just came out, which is My Brother's Keeper or Mycroft something. I don't know. I played the last 2. I haven't played the most recent one. But they came out with this one, and they came out with the last one, which was about the thief. That is phenomenal to me. Like, how do you do that? Like, that's crazy. I just want to shout out Frogwares. I think that's amazing. You guys, seriously though, you could take a break if you want. Not that any of you are listening to this, but
sure.
I felt like they needed a shout out for that. I don't know.
Yeah, because that's some real dedication.
I mean,
sure.
shit, man. I wouldn't be doing this podcast if we were at war. like, let alone designing and releasing a game internationally.
Dude, if my stomach hurts, I'll cancel on you. Like 100%. Like
know.
if I know I'm indisposed for any period of
I know.
time, like I'm not even gonna like that's it. Like I can't. So moving on here, a really weird weird and bizarre one. Don't trust strangers. So there was a Super Smash Brothers player who won a tournament and got screwed out of the prize money. But from what it seems, the prize money was never real in the first place. So there's a player who just goes by PokeLam, made his way through a tournament that was organized. I think it was through Discord, and there was a promise of $100 prize. The organizer goes by Rowfire, stating that the prize would be sent via Discord, which was kind of weird, and people kind of asked questions about. When PokeLam won, he was sent a literal picture of $100 bill and he was told to not spend it all in one place. So that's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
But yeah, be careful when you're out there doing those sort of things. I don't know. I guess the verbiage around everything was very strange, and it was very jokey. But I guess this person unfortunately went through it and didn't catch on to it.
That is a bummer.
Yeah. So more larger news that we definitely would have covered otherwise had it not been for the other two colossal pieces of news. But news that surprises absolutely nobody, I'm sure. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sequel, named the sequel to the Breath of the Wild, as the only information we've been given.
It was on my odds and ends, and then I took it off because I was like, Neil's got that one. He's got it.
Well, surprising nobody, it's been delayed from 2020 spring 2023. And what is really interesting about this is Nintendo thought it was so important, they put up a video just for this. It was a minute and 30-second long video. And in that minute and 30 seconds, all that was really shown was an apology saying that the game was going to be delayed. And there was a 30-second gameplay video in that showed a whole 5 seconds of brand new footage. So how this hype train works is now with those 5 new seconds of footage, it just shows the Master Sword all like corrupted and stuff. And people, the fan base, are losing their mind over that. So the hype is real. The anticipation is real. We're getting into overhyped territory. And yet again, we have an announcement of something that we kind of knew was coming anyways. But it's kind of for the best, because you and I were talking about this a little bit. This year is stacked.
It is stacked. It really is
stacked. We need something to look forward to next year, especially with E3 not being a thing.
I mean, can you imagine if that had come out this year? Like, holy
oh my
shit.
god!
I started a notepad on my phone for Game of the Year nominations already, just because there's already been like 2 or 3 that I would think about putting up there. I don't think any game review that I've seen has been under an 8 for IGN, which is rare, and even like ACG and stuff has been loving it. Like, everything's been really good this year.
Yeah.
Okay, that being said, let's get into this Breath of the Wild thing. First of all, what is with Nintendo and Zelda? Like, it's like they save all of their bullshit for one franchise. Every other game, it's like, we showed you something, you're going to get it 3 months later, it's going to be perfect, it's going to be absolutely flawless. Zelda, delay after delay after delay. Same with Breath of the Wild, same with Twilight Princess. Like, every fucking Zelda game is like this. It's like every other franchise, they can somehow, they'd be like, here it is, it's coming out in 6 months, it's going to be great, and it is. Or at least it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And Zelda, it's like, here's a little bit of it. We don't really have a name yet. It's going to come out next year-ish. And then, oh, no, we got to delay it, even though we didn't have a date. But it'll be next year. do you have a title? No, he's gonna be in the sky and also on the ground. We don't know. Like, why is that? Like, they do that with all of their Zelda games. It's insane to me. Like, it's like they save all of their goodwill so that they could just fuck up on Zelda for delays. Like, nobody's business. But that being said, I'm surprised to actually see this be delayed just because of Nintendo's track record of late. I do want to say I saw a lot of rumors tied to a new Switch.
Oh
Like this
god,
would be released with a new
yeah,
Switch. That's not happening, people. They
yeah.
just
No,
released the
that's not.
OLD. The OLED. There's no technology for that. There's no
Yeah,
patents for that. There's no new Switches in the works. I'm saying that right now. We're at least 2 years off from a new
yeah,
Switch, in my opinion, anyway.
for sure. Yeah, so that was a thing. Moving on to your the Activision Blizzard sexual harassment lawsuit has officially been settled for $18 million. Surprising absolutely nobody. They get to get away with it before the deal actually even goes through with Microsoft.
Yep.
And
Told you.
just
I hate to
yeah.
say I told you, but I told you.
Well, continuing right along with that, this one here, Bobby Kotick is apparently being investigated by the U.S. government for insider trading as well.
Great. Like, he's
Yeah,
scared at all. He's at the end of the day, he's gonna get a fine. I mean, it's not gonna be Martha Stewart. He ain't gonna go to jail for anything. He's gonna get a fine. He's gonna pay it off because he's a quadrillionaire, and then he's gonna be fine. He's gonna retire somewhere on a beach, buy an island, whatever. They get away with it, guys. I hate to say it, but they do. What bothers me is nothing good is coming out of any of these situations. And honestly, any chance we had of anything good or changes coming out of this went out down the pooper when Microsoft bought them, and that's one of the reasons that it bothered me so much. Is the minute Microsoft bought them, any of this was going right down the shitter. Period. I mean, you keep your fingers crossed for their whole union thing, but I don't even think that's going to really end up holding mustard in the end.
yeah. Basically, with this situation, it wasn't necessarily him doing the buying and selling, but he is believed to have been an envoy to two other individuals. He met with these two individuals, had them buy crazy amounts of shares of Activision stock for $40 each, and then days later, the announcement was made, and Activision agreed to be acquired at $95 a share. So yeah, there's that. That's a thing. Continuing the shit mill, as it were, with Mr. Kotick.
Yeah.
In other Game Pass news, because we didn't really touch on it when we were talking about it, I should have brought it up then. Game Pass is also rumored to be getting a family-style subscription as well, allowing 5 different accounts to access the service. So now you can go in on Game Pass with your friends or family members, of course. So that'll be cool.
It'll be amazing. Something that PlayStation does not offer.
Someday it probably won't. And then just on to my last one here. Babylon's Fall continues to fall.
Hello, you're the only one covering that game anymore, and you would have never played it.
I just think that this catastrophic just flop, like, this is worse than Anthem. I didn't think it was going to be possible, but this is worse than Anthem.
It is.
A month after launch, the game is only peaking at about 300 players daily.
So they've dropped by 50% since launch. They only had 650.
Yep. And they actually released a free demo. And that free demo was released on March 25th. Now, I took a note of this. I put this down on my notes 3 days ago. In that period of time, there have only been 30 downloads for the free demo.
Oh, wow. Maybe I should review it.
I
Since we
yeah,
got a free demo.
honestly,
If it's 5 hours
yeah,
worth, maybe I
I
should review it.
I feel like jump on the train, man. You may as well.
What if I like
I
it though? That would be a bummer. Like I'm like, oh
oh
no,
god.
this is a great game. Why do people hate this?
Oh, I would be so angry. But yeah, that's finally my end of
I don't know how we did it.
somehow.
We're ahead.
I was
We're
just
ahead
about to
on
say
time.
we made up ground. We
Yeah.
made up ground, and now we're on time. I thought this one was going to be like 2 hours long.
Maybe seeing each other is helping. Well, you can't see me, but maybe me
I
seeing
can't
you
see
is
shit.
helping. I don't know.
I see
Maybe.
me. I've been staring
do
at
see
myself
you.
the whole time and trying to move my head around in such a way that the stuff's not blocking my face.
You've been doing a really good job blinking too. I just want to point that
I
out.
I I have been because I'm staring at myself and realize my eyes are. I haven't been blinking.
All right, well let's fuck it. We'll get done early. I don't mind. Let's wrap this sucker up in a tight little bow.
Alrighty.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that's it, guys. This is the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, would you like to plug something, sir?
I would like to plug something, and it's something that we actually just kind of talked about right now. We're in this microsecond of time between these two spaces, as you may see it.
Quantum Studio.
The Quantum Studio, it's working its magic, as you can clearly see around me.
Exactly.
This is not the studio. This
He's
is some
in
weird
Tokyo.
cityscape. I'm in Tokyo
I'm in
with
my basement.
with Mud Beast. So you know, Zach and I have kind of talked about it, and we're at the end of Halo Infinite Road, and you know, the road is there. We are weary from our travels. Let's sprint the last way. So, what we talked about doing now is instead of putting up the standard episodes, we're just probably going to just stream the back half of Halo 4. Just to put that little feather in the cap and send it along on its way. I'm lost in the metaphors at this point in the turns of phrase. But yeah, we're going to finish off Halo Infinite Road here very soon and just stream the last of it. And we might be able to have 2 streams going right now. I'm still going to have to kind of figure that out to see if I have it set up properly on my end. If that's the case, it'll be my very first stream, which will be a little weird. Yeah, we'll figure that out.
All the kids are doing it.
All the kids are doing it. Yeah, it's the whole reason why I've been slowly accumulating these things. You probably can't even see it unless I turn the right way. You can't even see it. This is green right here behind me. So I've been slowly accumulating things for this, and I've been talking about this shit for fucking years at this point since I started building my computer. But yeah, that's enough about the me part of it. We're gonna finish off Halo Infinite Road here with a bang, hopefully this Thursday, if all goes according to plan. And then we'll be able to finish that game off, and it'll be a great time. And you'll at least be able to see my stupid face while it's happening. So.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of fun. Either way, you'll be able to see both of us. We're going to wrap it up, put it in a tight little bow. You guys have spoken. You don't really love the Let's Plays. You are okay with Prelude, so we're going to keep doing that. But for the most part, you don't like them, so we're going to stop doing them. We're going to just finish it off with a stream and do that finale that way. I want to plug Episode 3 of Star Trek Axiom. That is the tabletop RPG Star Trek game that I game master for Aether Dios, Seatown, Scorn, Mandark, and Nick Jitsu. Episode 3 will be this Wednesday, roughly around 9:30 on Aether Dios' stream on Twitch, AETHURDEUS on Twitch. Then, if you don't want to catch it on Twitch, you don't want to catch it live, that's fine. Check out back here on this channel. You'll be able to see it Friday morning at 8 a.m. I put the VOD up, and I also edit out any breaks we take. So please check that out. It has been wildly popular with you guys. We actually had Modifist, the people who designed the system, have tweeted us both times that we've done it already. which was really nice. We have huge view counts on it, so I'm really excited to do the next episode. So please check that out. Other than that, not really much else, man. Not really much else. I do have my Kirby Forgotten Lands review that just came out, but honestly, probably going to take 1 week off from reviewing. And we might take 1 week off from Prelude due to stuff that I'm sure I will use as a clip somewhere in this episode that will explain. In any case, check out everything we have to offer, though. We're doing a lot of Tiny Tina stuff right now. Phil Billy has been streaming with Filthy Phil. I'm going to start streaming one of them on Twitch as well, so you'll be seeing some of that. Amateur Hour Tuesday nights. Going to do some cleanup on Sifu, because I don't know if you watched that, Neil. I actually beat it. I beat it all the way through.
Did.
Even the pacifist run. Like, I even did the 100%. I did it. I fucking pulled it off. The last stream that I did was a nightmare stream that I don't recommend anybody watch the whole thing of, because it was literally just me fighting the same guy for fucking 2.5 straight hours. I'd watch the last 30 minutes. So, Neil, my arms gave out on me. My arms and hands gave out, because you have to hit this bumper so much to parry him. My whole hand was starting to lock up my arm and into my bicep. Like, I was literally too old to do this, but I pulled it off.
I know what that feels like.
Fucking pulled it off. Nonetheless, it was really good. I recommend anybody watch the last half hour of that stream. Probably not the rest of it, because it's just me getting the shit kicked out of me and getting sad about it. But yeah, so there's that. And I'm going to do some cleanup on that. Then we're going to see what comes my way for Amateur Hour. I don't know what else. I like to keep that one for the fighting games, but there's not really a lot coming out right now, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
I was going to say, it sounds like there's a lot of endings happening right now.
Well, yeah, I don't like Amateur Hour. I like the brawlers, but like there's not really a ton of brawlers to switch to. I could go back to Streets of Rage 4 for a little bit. That's possible. There's a bunch coming out. Like there's that Cowabunga collection that's coming out for the Turtles. Eventually, the actual new Turtles game is going to come out. That's another one I could do here. I really want to do Midnight Express when that comes out. So like I've been watching a bunch of them, but none of them have really released. So like there's not a whole lot to do. So I don't know, but I got to do a little cleanup with Sifu. So I'm probably going to run that one more time or two. And then I'm still doing Skyrim for the lunch stream on Wednesdays, which we will be back again this week. We should be back with the full streaming schedule. So, and I might do a little bit extra just because I took that week off, and I'm a fucking lunatic. I mean, I'm a narcissist who has to be on the internet. Just love me, please love me. Anybody out there love me? 316 people love me. Well, not all of them. Probably all of them came for you and Phil. I'm just oh, that fucker's just the guy who edits shit and bitches about fucking Nintendo. All right, well, that's it. We're going to go. We will talk to you guys later. Of course, you can contact us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link is in the description below. You can influence us in all of our shows from there. Check us out on Twitch, OldManGamingDH.Twitch TV. And then, of course, as long as you keep watching and you keep listening, we will keep making it. Good night.
How was vacation, by the way? Oh no. Oh no.
It was all right. We got in a horrific accident on the way out of town.
Are you what?
Yeah, it was real bad.
What happened?
We were, we were leaving Sunday morning, and we had that huge snowstorm.
Yeah.
And basically, as we were heading out of town on 76, somebody slid through a stop sign. Melissa was going 10 under the speed limit, and they just slid through the stop sign right in front of her. And, just T-boned them and totaled the Kia. We had all the stuff in the car, like, as we were heading out of town. Totaled the Kia, knocked me out. I got knocked out for a couple of seconds, I would say, maybe a minute.
What?
I don't know. Melissa's got bruises all over her body. It was real
Holy
bad
shit!
Yeah.
Oh my god! So
it was real rough.
And you still went on vacation after that?
Well, yeah, we did.
I mean, I guess you had stuff paid for and everything,
right? like we can't get a refund through Airbnb at that point. Melissa's off for the weekend, and honestly, when it comes down to it, your insurance company pays for the rental car. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh, so you just took the rental down?
yeah. So I mean, what we had to wait to figure that shit out, but like,
Right.
once that was all resolved, Sunday, my actually big shout out to my brother. If he's listening, thanks, brother. I really appreciate it. We're gonna get you back for it. But he came and grabbed Stella because Stella luckily did not take any damage in the wreck. She was completely safe in the back. She got really scared, started crying. We calmed her down. Then she realized she wasn't going to Ocean City, Maryland, and the crying started again. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you think about it. She's 5, so this is her first major accident on the way to her first vacation.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it was absolutely rotten. And we didn't know that we were going to keep going. We didn't know what was going to happen. There was a lot of panicking, and basically we called Phil to come get us because he's got a truck to get our shit out of the car because the car wasn't going anywhere. It took everything to get it out. Like the basically all the airbags deployed. So like, yeah, it was rough. So then he was coming, but I'm like, we should just call my brother, see if he's there, see if he can take Stella for a few hours so that we can get stuff handled, figure stuff out. And a big shout out to him and his fiance Kelly. They came and got Stella and took her for like 5 hours, which really made Stella feel a lot better. And we were able to figure stuff out. And then we still weren't even guaranteed that we were definitely going to go until the next day. And then it was kind of like after we put Stella to sleep, and she was still kind of like, we should still go. Stella was still kind of begging to go.
Yeah.
We finally kind of looked at it and we're like, look, we're going to get a rental car tomorrow. We'll lose a day, but there's nothing else we can do. We got to wait for all this stuff. We'll get the rental car. We'll pack up all the shit. It's still in the basement. I hadn't unpacked it yet, and we'll go. We'll make the best out of it. So yeah, it was real rough.
Oh my God.
But the vacation wasn't bad. I will say it ended up being really cold, which was a bummer.
Yeah.
So it kind of turned into a foodie trip. We ended up doing a lot of restaurants and a lot of like just attractions with Stella Love. She still got to see the ocean. She still collected shells. We did a couple of museums, a couple of different activities. Melissa got to finally eat crab for the first time. I got a bunch of pictures of her with the ham and stuff.
Before?
No, not like the hard shell crab, like the ocean crab from Maryland. You know what I mean? Like where you have to like pull it apart with a hammer and shit. She'd never done that, so she on her way out, she was like, "I'm eating crab in Maryland. That's my bucket list. I need to do that." So she got to do that, which I got a bunch of pictures of. So it still ended up being a pretty good vacation. There was ups and downs because it was still like because it was a northern beach town, we were still pre-season. So a lot of places that they tell you to go were just closed, and we didn't know until we got there because it was still closed for the season, basically.
Yeah.
So like, it was kind of like on the pro column, it was not busy. We were on a street of what had to be vacation rentals. There was nobody in any of them. We basically had the street to ourselves,
Yeah.
We could drive around. We didn't have to worry about it. Cool. Con column, basically every morning was like, let's get in the car, go to a place we hope is open. If it is or isn't, try and find another activity that is open, then find dinner. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like that, which again, not bad, still fun, but it was still very like every morning there was kind of this anxious like, what are we gonna do today? I have no idea. We can't make plans. But yeah, so it was still a fun vacation. Yeah, but it was kind of crazy,
That's good. God, shit, man.
Yeah. It was pretty rough. It was pretty rough. Going out of town for the first vacation we had taken in over like 7 years, I want to say. First vacation we've taken in 7 years, and that happened. It was pretty depressing and pretty nerve-wracking. But yeah. So that's how the vacation was, I guess. if you want to know, I don't know.
Man.
Yeah,
I had no idea. Like,
yeah.
And it's funny too because like shit's going on and everything like that. Like newsy sort of wise, and I was like, oh man, I'm like, you know what? He's on vacation. I'm just gonna let him have his vacation. I'm not gonna bother him with this stupid shit. And I mean, had I known that would have that happened, I would have definitely been like, dude, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you guys good?
It's okay, man. Like I said, only a handful of people knew.
Yeah.
Because like it was just the people we called to try and figure shit out, and honestly, we would have like Melissa got pretty banged up, like she got pretty bruised up. I'm not gonna lie, and so it was kind of like, do we even do this? Not even because like everybody's like, you could still go, and like we're like, yeah, we could, but at the same time, we're pretty beat up, and then it kind of came down to our kid, like she had a terrible accident on her way to her first vacation. We just didn't want to then say vacation's canceled, like we really wanted to make it work for her, so we took her down. So yeah, but it ended up being a lot of fun. Yeah, it ended up being they had a wood burning fireplace there, which I absolutely love. So I got to just make a wood burning fire every morning. But yeah,